is brought to you by Head Start Basketball.
Hello, and welcome to the 88th edition of the Coach's Corner Roundtable on the Hoopheads podcast. Each episode of the Coach's Corner Roundtable will feature our all-star lineup of guests answering a single basketball question. A new Coach's Corner Roundtable will drop around the 15th of each month. April's Roundtable question is, what is an untapped area of player development that you've started to spend more time working on with your players? Our coaching lineup this month includes Jason Harris from Umass Boston, Bob Krizancic from Mentor High School, Fonzo Martinez from McKinney Christian Academy, Don Showalter from USA Basketball, Joe Stasyszyn from Unleashed Potential, and David Vogel from Ohio Wesleyan University. Please enjoy this roundtable episode of the Hoopheads podcast, and once you're finished listening, please give the show a 5-star rating and review after you subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HoopheadsPod for the latest updates on episodes, guests, and events from the Hoopheads podcast. Are you or an athlete you know planning to go D3? Check out the D3 recruiting playbook from D3 Direct. Their playbook gives you a clear step-by-step roadmap to the recruiting process, what coaches value, key milestones from early high school through application season, and how to build a targeted list of schools that fit your needs. The playbook demystifies researching D3 programs and how to stand out without chasing every camp or showcase. The modules cover things like writing emails to coaches, building an effective highlight tape, using social media well, planning camps and visits, and navigating application strategy. You'll get templates, checklists, and an outreach plan to communicate confidently, learn how to compare financial packages, and avoid common missteps. By the end, you'll have a prioritized school list and a decision framework you can use to land your best fit opportunity. Click on the link in the show notes to get your D3 recruiting playbook from D3 Direct.
Hi, this is Dave Hickson, Basketball Hall of Famer and former men's basketball head coach at Amherst College. And you're listening to the Hoopheads podcast.
Let's hear from our panel about an untapped area of player development that they've started to spend more time working on with their players. Jason Harris from UMass Boston.
Being out of season, we are very limited in what we can do on the floor right now. So a lot of our focus has shifted to what we are planning to emphasize when we get back together. And for the most part, that's going to be finishing with more purpose and consistency. After we went back and we evaluated our year, it wasn't always the big, obvious breakdowns that cost us games. More often, it was a string of the small plays leading up to that moment. As coaches, we all understand it's the missed block out, the late rotation, the poor decision in conversion, not valuing a possession after maybe one or two previously poor valued possessions. So moving forward, we're going to be really intentional about building the habits around closing teams out earlier and more efficiently. So that'll mean designing our workouts and our segments to emphasize situational awareness, whether that's playing with the lead or understanding time and score more than we already do, and executing it with discipline when the game starts to tilt in your favor. There's a great quote, when your enemy is making mistakes, don't interrupt them. And so too many times this year, I think we interrupted the enemy's mistakes with mistakes of our own. So we want our guys to understand that winning isn't usually about the loud play at the end. It's about stacking the right decisions and habits over a 4 to 5 minute stretch that puts the game away before it even gets to that point.
Bob Krizancic, Mentor High School, Mentor, Ohio.
Coach K, Mentor High School. First, have a very productive day. Make sure you start it with a purpose. An area that we've really worked on so much more than in the past was talking about our culture, which translates to the court. The three main areas, the common understanding, make sure our players do know, why we're there and all the ramifications. Second, that there is psychological safety, that they can ask questions. It's okay to be wrong. Failure is a part of success, not the opposite of success. And then the purpose, what our long range goals and why we are all here. Hope that helps. You guys have a great day.
Fonzo Martinez, McKinney Christian Academy, McKinney, Texas.
One of the things for us that we've worked on is just being better at finishing offensive advantage plays, right? So thinking a lot about the 2-on-1, 3-on-2 type of advantages, especially inside the 3-point line. So we talk a lot to our guys about, hey, let's make sure we limit the amount of passes, but we want to be quick with our ball fakes, have great shot selection, and even talking to them about what does a good miss look like. So we want them to kind of have the mindset that, hey, the ball's got to attack not just the rim, but that help side defender. It's really, really important to get his frame to commit to you. So, hey, if we can get his frame to commit to us and we get a long misses are great misses when the defender's frame commits, because now it allows our other offensive players to clean up the offensive glass. So, hey, can we do a great job of just putting ourselves in the best position that we're either finishing at the rim, getting fouled, or we're getting that offensive putback? But yeah, that's a big thing for us.
Give with Hoops is the first platform turning basketball analytics into fundraising impact. Every stat tells a story, and now every story drives sponsorship, engagement, and team growth. Programs nationwide are transforming basketball stats into funding power. Learn to use performance data to attract sponsors, engage fans, and raise more with every play. Give with Hoops will help you raise 3 times more money for your program as their stat-based pledges consistently outperform traditional fundraisers. Visit givewithhoops.com/hoop-heads-podcast to learn more and take your fundraising to the next level. Give with Hoops. Don Showalter, USA Basketball.
Hi, Don Showalter from USA Basketball. What is the untapped area for player development? Is the question. I think, in my estimation, I think the untapped area is decision making. I think it's playing with some constraints, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, playing with constraints. I just think more and more trainers should be involved in this action as opposed to just dribble cones and get shots in. And the habits are made from repetitions. I still certainly agree with that for shooting and rebounding and ball handling and dribbling. But then I think it's got to be a point of where you put in some decision-making drills and definitely some constraint drills, such as limiting dribbles, or, you have to do some things to keep the ball on your team. So I would encourage this to happen, as well as the skill work itself, building habits. I think these are 2 of the very most important pieces. And I've come around to probably looking on my practices over 42 years of high school coaching, and now we're doing this more with USA Basketball, as we are certainly doing more of the decision-making drills along with the skill development, because we see a lot of development with players when we add in these constraints. Thank you.
Joe Stasyszyn, Unleashed Potential, Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Joe Stasyszyn, Unleashed Potential. This month's question is, what's the untapped area of player development that you have started working more on with your players? The area of player development that I have really focused on individually, with teams, small groups, different types of programs, is deliberate practice. I have a whole model on deliberate practice that I have shared with the Duke men's coaching staff, the Duke women's coaching staff, Villanova University women's coaching staff, and national team players and coaches and programs all around the world. And with this area of player development, you go in with a highly focused purpose of stacking different parts of skills. So for instance, when we're working on shooting, we're working on footwork at the same time. We're working on balance. We're working on pickups, picking the ball up quickly to shoot the ball, be prepared to shoot the ball. We're working on multiple movements. So when I'm doing a shooting workout with a group or an individual or a team, we will break those segments into parts, that almost like mini skills. And I think that is a way that we can make them focus, really draw in their focus more clearly. And I've seen a lot more results in doing that in terms of giving them feedback and not just doing a player development segment for the sake of doing it without a clear, deliberate purpose or plan, being very intentional on how we do it, using force, doing things on purpose, combining multiple skills at once to be more efficient. Through my experience in using this deliberate practice model with shooting, ball handling, involving competition, involving decision-making, in that regard, you're getting total player development, whereas, just working on shooting a basketball and just maybe the technique of shooting. So we're really bringing the focus in really clear and direct, and it's really a way to go from being good to being great. And players really have to focus on multiple things at once rather than just catching and shooting the ball, rather than just working on ball handling. When we do ball handling with intentionality, we work on using force. We work on sometimes actually bouncing the ball off the floor at the same spot over and over again. So that really causes a player to focus more intently. So I could go on for a lot of time on this. I actually speak on this for USA Basketball and on their basketball coach academies nationwide. And like I said, when I go worldwide, I speak on this and give examples. But it all comes down to doing things with a purpose in mind and stacking many skills and giving feedback and using competition and having the players or the teams compete against each other, compete against time, compete against making a certain amount of shots. I just think if you want to fine-tune your player development, this is the way that you should go about it. I've seen great success, and I've gotten great feedback, like I said, from college programs, from national teams, FIBA, national coaches. They seem to really like this model, and they've had success in using this model. So once again, deliberate practice, being very deliberate in your player development, whether it's with a team, an individual, small groups, programs. It's a blueprint for success. Thank you.
David Vogel from Ohio Wesleyan University.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is David Vogel with Ohio Wesleyan men's basketball. One area of untapped player development that we've been working on. Well, two things, really. One thing our head coach has done a really good job at for a long time is passing. Don't feel like you can train passing enough in practice or individual workouts. It really helps when you've got all five guys on the court that not only can see it, but then can also deliver it. And then another area that we honestly haven't really started to work on yet, but we're going to for next season is a lot of the mental game. Saw some stuff with Corey Close from UCLA, and a lot of the training responses and being able to refocus quickly are things that we're really looking forward to doing. It's something that's a little outside the box, hopefully. So best of luck.
Your first impression is everything when applying for a new coaching job. A professional coaching portfolio is the tool that highlights your coaching achievements and philosophies, and most of all, helps separate you and your abilities from the other applicants. The Coaching Portfolio Guide is an instructional, membership-based website that helps you develop a personalized portfolio. Each section of the Portfolio Guide provides detailed instructions on how to organize your portfolio in a professional manner. The guide also provides sample documents for each section of your portfolio that you can copy, modify, and add to your personal portfolio. As a Hoopheads Pod listener, you can get your Coaching Portfolio Guide for just $25. Visit coachingportfolioguide.com/hoopheads to learn more.
Thanks for listening to the Hoopheads podcast, presented by Head Start Basketball.